What do most people think leadership is versus what is it actually?
That has so many layers to it, that question. That's a very good question. So I think the quick answer is most people will think leadership means you telling people what to do. That will be the number one thing. The dichotomy and the difficulty I felt was I know how people feel on the ground. I have gone through those ranks. I've worked my way up, and people do a good job, and they all have a sense of what this place is and what they do. Therefore, having somebody on the top telling them what to do is very counter to some corporations and to some organizations, including ours. It would be a very counter thing to think this guy at the top knows everything. He knows better than everybody else, which is, I guess, think again something that people get wrong. They think the leader is like the top person. So the leader knows more than the finance manager. They know more than the marketing manager. They know more than the people manager. They are just the best of everything. Totally wrong, right? That person is somebody who should be deeply embedded in what the organization is doing to the ground level, but have enough oversight and understanding to guard and protect and guide the whole organization, because they have all this rapport with people, both on the ground, as well as having a good team that can enact the strategy that people have willingly signed up for. And if you have a board, obviously the board will also have a role to play. But so the leader or leadership as such is this dichotomy between knowing that there is a direction that the organization will have to be moved into to a degree, but to do it with the knowledge of what is actually living there today, to make people understand that whatever you're going to trying to achieve is either completely the right move because of what's happening or because of external influences. And you just need to make sure that people get that. But that's that thing. So once you kind of, I think when you're working your way up, all you're thinking about is always going up. Once you're at the top, it is very much about knowing what's going on the ground and holding the whole. And that's an interesting dichotomy. But because you're not moving up anymore, that's why you need to create space to understand what are the effects of my decisions now.
What makes a terrible leader?
Um, so the biggest thing is ego, by far. If you think you know best, and you're a gift to the organization because you exist, therefore we shall worship you. That's probably the worst.
Let's say somebody has enough self-awareness to realize they're being an asshole like that. What recommendations would you give them to course correct?
Well, if they have, I mean, I think probably the step before would be to speak to people that know you, and the people that you directly affect. So the people that you're line managing, I guess, for them to give you some rapport of how you're seen. But if we're going all the way to this worst type of leader, it's most likely that you are in this position. People will not want to open up to you, so it might be time to go. If you wouldn't want to, it would be just admitting that you think you've gone wrong somewhere, and that misunderstanding. You were, you could admit that. Hopefully, you were trying to do your best for the organization. You have gone wrong somewhere, and it's become clear to you, and you would like to work with the team on course correct. If it's not too far gone, they will do it. If it's been a few years, probably not.
So I've had various experiences with leadership and being a leader or being a boss or being the president of an organization and things. And I definitely came into it, like a lot of young guys come into it of like, oh, I'm the fucking boss now. Like I have all this power. You're going to listen to me. Like I'm going to crack the whip because that's how you get shit done. I'm the captain now kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, like, for example, like in undergrad, I joined a fraternity, and one year I was the president, and then we came up for re-elections, and I lost so fucking hard. But so many people came up to me like, "Hey, man, we got more done this year than we've ever gotten done. You were amazing to help us get shit done, but you were such an asshole. I can't take another year of you." And like, again, I'm like fucking 19, 20 or some shit. I'm like, you're insane. Like, this makes no fucking sense. We got so much done, but I'm an asshole. So you
Mm-hmm.
got butt hurt and you don't want to elect me again. And like, it took me a minute to like develop the humility of like, okay, I was too focused on metrics and not the humans that I was responsible for leading,
Mhm.
that I wanted to achieve this at all costs. But like, if this had been an actual like company, my attrition rate, or my turnover like would have been really high because people would have just fucking left, right? Um, and it took me a while, and it also took me having multiple shitty bosses to realize, oh, I was like that. Oh, I don't want to be like that because I know what it feels like to be on the receiving end of somebody who's basically just a tyrant,
Mm.
right? Um, or like I remember when I was on internship, and my internship was absolutely hellacious, for a multitude of reasons. There were a couple really good people, uh, but in general, it was absolutely hellacious. The closest I've come to clinical depression in my adult life was on my internship year. It was horrific. But I remember I had this one supervisor, and he could tell that I was like, not really feeling it. Not for my own shit, but because just the systems in place were really not serving the goal of what the internship was supposed to be. There's a lot of false advertising. He was like, okay, let's have a candid conversation. I legitimately want to know how you're feeling right now to see how I can help. I was like, okay, cool. You've created this environment of psychological safety. I feel like I can open up to you and be honest. And I was, not disrespectfully, just honest, like, hey, man, here's how I'm feeling. And at the end, he was like, okay, well, if you feel like that, we don't want you here. He was like, we don't want people here who feel the way you do. So you can either not feel that way and stay, or we can ask you to leave. And like, the thing with internships for psychologists is like, you either finish your internship or you are like blackballed from getting another one. So it was like, my only option is to just suck it up.
Mhm.
And I never trusted that motherfucker again, because it was like, I felt like you were setting me up. You were trying to collect ammo. You were tricking me into being honest and vulnerable,
Mhm.
right? And I think that it's really, really easy, unless you are intentional about the authority that you are given as a leader in any capacity. It's really easy to either think you got to crack the whip or think you got to like get people.
Mhm.
And sadly, I see that much more commonly in a lot of industries that I've personally experienced. Um, or I see it on the complete opposite side, where somebody allows all of their insecurities to come up and they like over communicate to the point that like you don't have any authority because all you do is communicate how insecure you are about being a leader. And it's like, I need to be inspired by you. I need to feel empowered by you. And I need to feel that you have my best interest, especially as it relates to the company, at heart.